Hello. So, I'm going to be walking around, at night. I'm making, that fake pork roast. You remember that fake pork roast from Food Wars, I think? The anime? But yeah, this guy takes mashed potatoes, puts it in a loaf, as in, he makes mashed potatoes, and then he rolls it up into a loaf, wraps it in bacon, and then bakes it in the oven, and serves it up with the red wine sauce. And he then reveals it's actually potatoes and bacon, not pork roast. And honestly, I thought that was pretty cool. But I can't give just the idea to Food Wars because I also saw an episode from a channel on YouTube called Babish Culinary Universe, a YouTube channel where he cooks dishes from different shows. And he made the gotcha pork roast from Food Wars. And I decided, hey, I have mashed potatoes and I have thick cut bacon strips. What if I made... Oh man, that bird scared me. There was a bird in the tree. Its flapping scared me. But anyways, what if I made that pork roast or not pork roast, I'd say. I'm sorry if I'm not holding the tablet correctly and keeping the camera stable. I'm just looking up at the sky. Once I get to a dark spot, I can show you. But this sky looks phenomenal. I really wish the camera was good on this, this tablet because like the night sky, it's really good. Sad that I have to travel all the way to an open field across from the elementary school just to see it, because our yard is surrounded with trees. Oh, that's sad. Found a roadkill toad. Anyways, yeah, I had to travel all the way out here. And if you're wondering, do not worry about my fake pork roast, because I put it in there for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. It's not going to burn, though I will not spend an extended amount of time here. Man, you know the worst part about this? Well, the worst part of the best day of the school year. Yeah, that's right. May 7th, best day of the school year, because that is the last day I'm at school, like, until the 13th and 16th. Because at the 13th, I practice graduation walks, out at the tennis field, the tennis court. And on the 16th, I can invite some family members over to watch my graduation. Damn, that's a pretty night sky. I wish this camera was good enough to capture this. But anyways, yeah. Once we get over to that basketball court over there that you can barely see, you can see it. Yeah, the basketball court is also a spot I can use to watch the stars. Yet I don't do it as often because, well, it's dark. It's dark, and sometimes I get scared of something around. I know this is like a quiet town with quiet people and a quiet life, but you can never be too safe, you know. Someday something will happen. Someday or another, something bad will happen to you that you cannot recover immediately from. Whether it be you break your leg, or someone hurts you in a bad and serious way, or, you know, you just, your body just goofs up and stops working for a second. Damn, this night sky is so pretty. It's so pretty. And I can't see a thing through this camera. I hope you can see it, but I can't. I'm sorry if you can't see the night sky. I mean, if you're watching this right now and you're in the same area as me, as in the Midwest, you could just go out and look up, you know? You can just go out and look up at the sky if you think it's so pretty and you want to see. Otherwise, there's really no other way of showing you, because if this camera refuses to record starlight, then I guess you taking a look for yourself will have to do. I think I just saw a shooting star. Or that could be just a piece of space junk floating around the Earth. Fun fact, if you see a shooting star, chances are it's actually either a piece of junk floating around in the Earth's orbit, or part of that junk could be astronaut crap, because when they send astronauts up into space, it takes a long time for them to get to their destination, whether it be the space stations or the moon or even Mars itself someday. It takes a long time. And, they have to go. So, when they do, they eject their waste out into space, which gets immediately solidified because of the coldness of it. And it just floats around. And when it re-enters the atmosphere, it burns up from the friction of going so fast, and manifests itself as a streak of light across the sky. You know, some stars are not actually stars at all, because if you look out And if you were to look, what's that constellation there? If you were to see that line of stars, it's a line of like 4 stars, and right next to it is a curved line of 3 stars. One of those is a sort of orangish color, and that's actually a planet. I forget which planet, either Venus or Mars, but it's a planet. And you can differentiate the planets from the stars because the planets are the ones that don't twinkle in the sky. Man, I haven't seen a sky this clear in a long time. It looks so beautiful. Oh, and I think I just found out a way to find the planet thing. So if you look at the Big Dipper there, and then pan around about 180 degrees, you can see that orange planet. You know, it makes me think, if you were to see a shooting star, and if you knew for a fact, as in 100% certain that it would come true, like if you see a shooting star and it was a guaranteed 100% that wish you wished upon the star would come true, what wish would you make? If you even bother, write it in the comments, But I could tell you my wish. No need to be a downer and all. Don't like being a downer, But I would wish for, my family to be whole again. I'd wish for my father back. Like, ever since 2017, it all went downhill from there. After that, my mom was extremely depressed and would find it harder and harder to take care of all her children. And not only that, but my littlest sister, Gabby, would be her last child, as in it would be the last child he ever gave her, and she would have to take care of her without his help. We managed to stay at our house at Oneida until 2020, early 2020, about February 2020. We had to move because of the lead levels. My mom was absolutely adamant about keeping the house. She repainted all the walls. She bought a filter for the tap. But every time she tested with the doctor, every time she had Gabby tested with the doctor, her lead levels did not go down. So, in order to keep Gabby around, we had to move. And that's why I'm here in Sonneman. Here living at my aunt's and uncle's house. It has been so long. And my mom still cries some nights when she listens to music. I don't know why I listen to music while looking up at the stars. I just think that listening to this music, imagining situations that would never happen, and looking up at the stars, all those combination of being introspective and looking up at the infinite cosmos, it just feels like an emotional trip, more emotional than any movie I have ever watched, more emotional than any book I have ever read, more emotional than every harrowing story of every nurse, soldier, or protester. When I come up with my imagination, it seems like everything pales in comparison to what my own mind can make up, and to what all your minds can make up too. Because when someone makes a movie or a book, it never is truly good unless they put all their heart and soul into it. Unless they spend days and weeks slaving over one single shot of one single scene. Because unless you put 100% into a movie or TV show or video game or whatever, it's always going to not be as good as you thought it was. And even then, sometimes you still think of things that you did wrong with what you made. And you still constantly look for a way to improve upon yourself, even if you've spent 40 plus years doing what you have always loved to do. There were times when you feel like you wonder, why are you doing this? There are times when your craft tests you so hard that you just feel like giving up. But for some reason you don't. Because you ultimately love what you're doing. Just like how you ultimately love your sibling no matter what they do to make you angry. There was a story that I came up with while listening to Porter Robinson's Goodbye to a World. It was a story about a boy who was born with wings. Now, the boy was a social outcast because of these wings. These wings were not like angel wings, as their general makeup was more that of a bat than a bird, which makes a lot of sense. If people had grown wings, it would look a lot more like bat wings. This boy born with wings was loved by his parents and siblings, but everyone else seemed to judge him just based upon his wings. He was not accepted into any group, no friend group, no internet fandom, no church. Only his family were his true friends, as his parents supported him on every step he took to becoming independent. But one day, one of the boy's parents died. He found out that the parent that died was not the hero he had once thought them to be. But that didn't stop him from loving that parent, even after he found out some of the cruel things they'd done. His surviving parent could not bear living in the same house where their spouse died. So, the surviving parent packed up their bags and forced the whole family to move. The boy loved this house. He had spent 17 years at that house, living throughout his entire life at this house. This house that he made memories with. This house that he explored every nook and cranny of, everywhere he explored as a child. He loved walking around the yard and gliding from rooftop to ground, and climbing back up a tree and gliding from the tree to the rooftop. Ever since they moved to their relative's place, he got overweight, as he had not been motivated anymore to go out and try flying. He went into a spiral downward until he graduated high school. He was independent from high school now. He no longer needed to go. And he thought, since he was an adult now, he could do things without his parents' permission. So he worked out, and he kept working out until he was able to lift himself off the ground for the first time in over 2 or 3 years, I don't know when. But he had lifted himself off the ground. When he did that, he knew he was ready. He climbed to the highest building he could find in that town, gliding from rooftop to rooftop until he could climb this huge building that was 8 stories high. Then he flew. He flew over the towns and the fields, playing his favorite song mix. Then, unfortunately, he accidentally flew into military-owned space. They picked him up on their radars, and they could not tell what he was because of the dark silhouette. He was wearing dark clothes. His wings were dark colored. It was a new moon out. The military sent jets after him. He dodged them as best as he could, climbing to over 1,000 feet above the ground and stooping until he was about 500 feet from the ground. But the jets were faster. It was impossible to be faster than jets. He tried to slow down and climb on top of their cockpits to tell the pilots, but all the pilots saw was a strange humanoid figure with giant bat wings. They got scared. They shot him down. His wing was nearly gone as the bullets clipped it. He was unable to continue powered flight, and he had to coast to the ground. He coasted to the front door of his old house, now condemned, abandoned, boarded up. He limped his way to the front door, and with all his strength, he pulled the boards off their nails and swung the door open. He then crawled to the middle of the living room, where he remembered watching his favorite TV show with his parent. And he lied there, bleeding out. We don't know whether he died or not. All we know is that he didn't turn up for years after. His surviving parent never saw him again. His brothers and sisters never saw him again. all they could do is hope that he was somewhere out there, slowly recovering, so that he could take flight again. And that was the story of the winged boy. Anyways, I'm sorry it was kind of a downer there. So I hoped you liked my story. I've been thinking about it for a long time. Looks like we're just in time. That looks pretty good, but not done enough. It might have been not done because of the fact that I didn't let it preheat all the way before then. Oh well. I'll try and come up with a less depressing video later on. I don't know when. Maybe I could ask my maybe I could ask my mom to hold the tablet and record me on my graduation walk. That would be pretty cool. It would be like the first time you saw my face, though, which I think is fitting. Because I hope there are new subscribers that have attended ROVA. They're coming on soon because I emailed my teacher, Mrs. Redfern, talking about how I'm about to graduate. And, I'm wishing her the best. Hoping that she could teach more art to more students. As many of the students that I know at ROVA are going to graduate as well. Like Ben, Keegan, Hunter, Chase, Jake, Dylan, Parker, all those people. They're gonna graduate soon. Either that or they're gonna attend just one more year at that school. And they're gonna be done. I know one person that is still a freshman there, Jacob Bewley. If any of you are not subscribed to him, he makes some content. I mean, at first it could seem cringy, but if you actually listen and genuinely watch what he's making, it's pretty good. Basically, he makes fan death battles. He pits two characters that have not been covered. Like, he pits two characters that have not faced each other in official death battle, and he has them do a death battle. There are some funny ones, like he pits two characters from the Cars movie franchise together. Like, he pits the diver from Finding Nemo and the Cyclops from SpongeBob SquarePants the movie. But anyways, if you haven't subscribed to him yet, give it a watch. He also does streams of like different games like Mortal Kombat 10 and WWE 2K20, as well as the Lego Incredibles game. He did that one too. I hope he does more gaming live streams. I like those. It's one of the only chances I could actually, talk to someone who attends ROVA, because basically I literally have no contact with anyone else other than, him, and he's just a new student there. I have not been able to get into contact with any of the other classmates that I mentioned. Just the teachers and him. But anyways, this has been my third talking video, or would it be fourth? No, it would be third. So anyways, bye.